good evening, greetings, salutations to everybody on the Daily Mosh, and a rather belated happy holidays to everyone. Once again, this is Andy, or as you may know me, Tao, on the Daily Mosh. And today we are doing a unboxing video. I just received this today, literally, and this is from the Not So Secret Santa, as opposed to Secret Santa. And this year, my Secret Santa was and is Andrew Cherzanowski, or V9733XA. So I'm very, very excited to delve into this and see what's all here, and yeah, let's do it. I mean, first things first, got the address right. It's always a plus. And hopefully I pronounced your name right. The last name. I mean, knowing my last name and how hard it can be for some people, I quite understand if I got it wrong. And it's taped rather damn well. Spared no expense whatsoever in ensuring its safe arrival. There we go. So, and he wrapped them. Oh my gosh. I gotta do something bigger and more flashier next year. It seems as if everybody is catching on with wrapping things up, wrapping gifts up. Question is, what do we have here? Padding, packaging, protection. And first off, we have a calendar, an advent calendar. I will be opening it. I'm just making sure that there's no card hidden in between all of this festivity, just in case. Excellent. And nope, no card. Okay. So, first things first. Almost like the tape there. Very good wrapping job, I must say. Kudos to that. You certainly do better than I do. Oh, there is a note right here. It says, I don't know anything about this band, but you seem to. Play it loud. With pleasure. Absolute pleasure. No matter what it may be. Unless it's Tiny Tim. I live in a fourplex. They may not appreciate discerning tastes. And out comes the knife once again. More tape. Tape, 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 tape. sliced my fingers. Done that way too many times. At work. Ooh, 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 ha, ha, ha. That was close. We'll leave it open just in case. Yes. So earlier in 2020, it might have been late 2019, I started moving or expanding my tastes in music, and not necessarily experimenting, but exploring into different areas to see if there was anything I was missing, and see if there was anything enjoyable that I, may like. And one of those areas was, and currently is, death metal. And moving past the trepidatious phase and realizing that a lot of the early stuff, like 85% of it, the gross out lyrics and artwork and stuff like that was more as a lark, a laugh, a thing to what's the word I'm looking for? To get a rise out of people and, provide humor for the band. Not so with this band here. Granted, they start out in very decrepit, gooey, gory areas of songwriting. They moved more into the horrors of the modern world, with like spiritual healing and like intermittent thought patterns, I believe it is, human. However, this is their final album before they tragically had to call it quits due to Chuck Schuldinger's untimely death in the late 90s. And that album will be Death, The Sound of Perseverance, which is it is my second favorite album from Death, right behind Leprosy. It may be more or playing more towards the side of me that enjoys like prog metal, but combined with their pedigree and their history in the death metal scene, with that prog metal expansion on this album, it is a very, very intrepid outing. It is a fun time to dip into and experience, even passively experience. And and yeah, this is a good album, a good way to, without sounding sarcastic, a good way to go out on. So this will be played at appropriately loud levels, loud enough for me to enjoy it, but quiet enough so that I don't piss anybody else off. Damn. I've been very, very meaning to pick up Death's albums on vinyl. And thank you, Andrew, fellow Andrew, for kickstarting that journey. Next up, we have a nice thick one. That's what she said. Once again, delightfully wrapped. And right away, it's a book. No excuse now not to have a movie to watch every day, all year. Got this on a whim to convince you to get back on the Letterboxd train. Groundhog Day. It is a novel entitled A Year of Movies. 365 films to watch on the date they happened. Intriguing, very intriguing. In a year of movies, it provides a selection for each day on the calendar in which at least some of the events in the film take place. For some films like Dog Day Afternoon, the entire drama occurs on a very specific date. For other films such as The Right Stuff, the date in question is represented in a key scene or two. Interesting. I have been meaning to get back on the Letterboxd train. I really fell off hard, not only watching films, but also ascribing thoughts and tangentials to those films that I had been watching. Sometimes inspiration would come easy and I could churn out a review. Other times it was very difficult for me to get past what one can deem a lazy excuse, as in I liked it, moving on. I really enjoy ascribing thoughts and patterns, not necessarily breaking down, but admiring the technicals behind the camera as well as in front of. And more than anything, I enjoy the sense of community when I publish a review and people are like, "You're alive!" And I do miss that, and that is one of my self-promised goals or resolutions for this year, is to get back into a creative mindset within Letterboxd and writing reviews and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe this novel here will certainly help me to get those creative juices flowing. I am very, very keen to page through it and see what movies they have on here, in here. And yeah, this is actually going to be an interesting time paging through it. Thank you very much. Right now we only have 2 more, and I'm eager and chomping at the bit. We have a smaller one, and I cannot wait to see what note is affixed to this one. Yes, I was hoping for this. I was sincerely hoping. So, this is a film that fellow Andrew had watched in last year, and it's called The Lake Michigan Monster. And apparently there were bits and pieces of it that were filmed in my home state. I don't remember exactly where, but you know, it's Wisconsin, baby. Wisco love. So he and I had joked about it, you know, with like the home state shout out and everything like that. And he threatened me with him purchasing this if ever he had me for a Secret Santa recipient. So as the world turns, karma. band in 4 Lakes. Arr, matey. Set sail off the shores of Milwaukee into the murky deep to search for the terrifying Lake Michigan monster. One of the funniest and stupidest movies I have ever seen. I so hope you'll like this too. Because you love it, I know I will enjoy it. And I definitely, hold me to it, I definitely will write a review for this when I do watch it. I am very much looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to setting aside some time and enjoying the ludicrousness of it all. Very much looking forward to it. And finally, last one. It's a bit thicker, maybe another book. For as much as I've fallen off, I do enjoy reading. I still enjoy reading. And this past summer, I actually came into possession of several hundred books of military history, primarily centered on World War II. And I don't believe I made it known while on the Daily Mosh, but younger me had aspirations of becoming like a historian or working in the history field and centering my area of knowledge around World War II or the Vietnam War. So it's still very much an area of history, an aspect of history that I do enjoy. And I mean, not hindsight, but because I live in the present, that's the history, the only thing I can do is read about it and talk to the few remaining participants we have left. On that note, possibly one of the most gut-wrenching, horrifying, solidified in crystal moments in history that we've had the misfortune to participate or behold upon has been the Holocaust. The systematic elimination of political dissidents, racial minorities, LGBTQ people, mentally inferior, and most prevalent, most damning Jews. This is the one area of World War II that I still have difficulties reading about. It's still hard to wrap my mind around it and just accept for the fact that it happened. It happened. Like this was an actual act. This wasn't like caught up in a wave of history. This was actual and deliberate. Almost a decade ago, I went with most of my other siblings to Washington, D.C. And we had a fun time. We visited almost all of the sites and stuff like that. Um, but one of the things that we did go see was the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. And that was a very sobering um, tour. And basically, the museum is like 3 stories tall, 3 or 4 stories tall. And they start you at the top. And each floor goes through a strata, if you will. So, like, the top floor is like the origins of the Holocaust, the beginning. And then the next floor is like early years and expansion into Russia and the Einsatzgruppen, or killing squads whose express mission was to eliminate Jews and other inferiors. Um, and then, you go through the floors. One floor is all about concentration camps and stuff like that. And it's packed with photographs, it's packed with Nazi footage that was captured of Einsatzgruppen and, soldiers eliminating people. They have like lampshades made out of human skin. It just horrifying stuff. And then you get down to the bottom, and intersplicing all these floors, there's just one single room, and it goes up like a teepee. And yeah, it goes up like a teepee. That's the best way I can put it. And it's filled with photographs, top to bottom. And I mean, the only way that you can go and look at it is when you're on the bottom floor. And you walk through it, you're looking at all the photographs and everything like that. And then there's a little sign next to the door leading out of that room. And it says these were all occupants in X village in like, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was a Soviet satellite country. And it was all occupants of a particular village. And it finishes saying that every single one of them were killed. And for as much as it is horrifying, for as much as it is difficult to realize the barbarity of man in certain faces and certain aspects, we cannot forget that this happened. We cannot forget everything that was lost in participation of these inhumane and cruel acts of calculated dismissal. It should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten. Anyways, that's what this is. This is a documentary entitled Shoah. And it's about the filmmakers going and interviewing not only survivors, but also Nazis who were part of this mass machine of murder. If I remember correctly, a lot of the interviews with the Nazis were taken without their direct knowledge that they were being used for this type of documentary. So they talk more freely about it than, you know, one normally would if they knew what they were being talked about or talked to about. This is one of my cinematic white whales, one that I've always been meaning to watch, but for the most part, I've never been able to get into a mindset to be able to accept what I would see. As an aside, I mean, this documentary is 9 hours long. So if you were looking for something more palatable in a time sense, there is another 1950s, it was a 1950s French little documentary called Night and Fog. It's also available in the Criterion Collection, and it deals with the Holocaust as well, but not as in depth. I do recommend that if one ever gets time to see it. Definitely see it. And then if you want it filtered mildly through American pop culture, there is an episode in the original Twilight Zone run of episodes, sound like a broken record there, called Return to Death Said. And that one is my favorite Twilight Zone episode, primarily because of the content and the aspect. So the note says, have 9.5 hours to spare? Of course you do. Enjoy this masterpiece at your leisure. I think you know how I feel about Shoah, so I'll leave it at that. That I do. Thank you so very much for this, Andrew. Thank you very much. Along with the Lake Michigan Monster, I definitely will set aside time for this and work my way through it. It may take a little while longer to pump out a review for it, but I want to be sure, I want to be confident in what I am putting across. But know that I will do it justice. So that's the unboxing. The whole kit and caboodle. The whole shebang. Once again, and always, thank you so very much, Andrew, V97. This completely exceeded anything that I could have hoped for. And I truly do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You completely outdid yourself for this Secret Santa. And now that we're even, may the hourglass be reset, and I will have to outdo you next time I get you for Secret Santa. So, music shall be listened to, films shall be watched, books shall be perused over, and general mirth shall be had. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For everyone at the Daily Mosh, happy holidays. And I hope to see you around a lot more often on there. This is Tao, signing out.